What if I were to suggest that you play a key role in the awakening world? And that you are watching this because you have heard the call. We can start right now by opening our hearts and minds. Welcome to the awakening world.
Good evening, good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Sacred Sunday Show. I'm your host, Love Coach Scott Catamas, and this has been such an amazing few days. I know many of you were with us last night, so you already have gotten a big sense of the incredible energy taking place as part of the HoloMovement. Now, I'm fortunate I got to be one of the 80 people here in Sedona. Today's show is dedicated to all of you. So my guests include people that haven't been here in Sedona with us, but are precious and beloved members of our Global Peace Tribe. And of course, any of you who are watching fall into that category. I have Piper Dellums with us today. Malkin is with us today. Zinka Kara is going to be joining us. And so we're going to be really talking about this incredible ignition of the HoloMovement that's taken place. What does that mean? But then how does it impact each of you? And how are you relating to these times, to this awakening of consciousness? So we're going to hear what Piper and Gary and Zinka have to say about that. We're going to have a lot of beautiful music today. Of course, Omushar is with us. And I want to invite those of you who are watching on Facebook, and we go out now to about 135 Facebook groups and pages. And it's wonderful that you're watching on us. Thank you. I also want to welcome those of you watching on Alan Steinfeld's YouTube channel, on the Conscious Awakening Network. Thank you. Enjoy the show. And come join us. Come join the Global Peace Tribe. It's very easy to do that. Just go to globalpeacetribe.com, globalpeacetribe.com, and it'll take you to this website that you're looking at. You're going to learn all about all the shows we do. We've done over 500 shows since the start of the pandemic. And click where it says register for the new season. We do 3 or 4 shows every week featuring amazing human beings like the ones you're going to meet today. And for example, this week, Wednesday night, we had a lovely show all about celebrating all shades and colors of sexy and beautiful. Recognizing that regardless of age, race, culture, gender, we are all beautiful and sexy beings. We are sensual creatures. And then last night, and again today, it's live spontaneous interviews with evolutionary leaders, whether they're actually part of the official Evolutionary Leaders Network, like Gary Malkin is, like I am, or whether it's all the wonderful people that are unofficial members, like each and every one of you. That's what we're going to be talking about today. So it's really going to be a powerful show, and it's a great idea. Come on into the Zoom room. So for those of you that are watching, join Global Peace Tribe. You'll get the links for all of our shows for the next 4 months. including today, and then you can come into our Zoom room and interact directly with us. And you're going to want to do that because we're going to have some really beautiful back and forth conversation with our guests. I am going to kick us off. Normally, we start with a meditation on Sacred Sunday morning and a song with Omar Shar, but we're going to do a little different today. I'm going to play this beautiful brand new video. It had its world premiere last night on the Awakening World, so this is the second time it's been seen publicly. And it really will give you all the vision for what the HoloMovement is. And it features our beloved friend, Kristen Hoffman, who I've had the good fortune to spend a lot of time with the last couple of days. In fact, I picked her up at the airport, so it was kind of fun. So we're going to watch that, then we're going to hear a beautiful channeled presentation from Piper with a little Omar Shar music underneath it. Talk to Piper, and then we're going to bring in Gary Malkin. So here we go, and enjoy this extraordinary video.
We have entered an extraordinarily rare interval in human history, a choice point in our collective journey, a space between the past and the future where the lives of countless generations ahead will be profoundly impacted by the choices we make now.
I believe it is both subtle and large, and something else so extraordinary that there's almost no name for it, because a new human species is ready to emerge.
Participation in this transformation involves collective attention and communication on a planetary scale. This creates coherence and clarity of direction. Simply put, it is the HoloMovement in motion.
It is the great universal source itself, herself, ourselves. It says it is time to wake up now. It is time to do and be what you were born to do and be.
So that's the question. What part are you playing in this incredible awakening world? And I really want to invite all of you to put your answers into the chat box. I will also call upon some of you perhaps to share. I see we've got people like our wonderful Wild Abbot, Jerry, with us, Nitya and Sylvia, Zenka, Jeffrey, Sonia, Karen, Christy, Dia, Pat. Those are the ones whose cameras are on. George, Roger, and Bonnie. So would love to hear from some of you in the chat box. Love to hear from some of you in person, putting you on camera. And I'm going to welcome our wonderful guest, one of my absolute favorite new members of the Global Peace Tribe. This is Piper Dellums. Welcome back, Piper.
Thank you, Scott. Hello to the beautiful tribe. Hello, family, brothers and sisters. That was beautiful. What a perfect energy to bring into this Sunday morning. That the film was lovely.
You know, one of the things, Piper, that's been taking place this weekend, I've been so excited. So I've been posting on Facebook pictures and images and talk about the Evolutionary Leaders Network. And a lot of people have said, well, I'm an evolutionary leader. I want to be a part of it. And there's been like this, I realized a certain sadness, and I'm a very inclusive person. I'm like, invite everybody, that's my style. And so first off, I want to say this has been a working retreat. It hasn't been an event open to the public. It's been a working retreat where we've all been really working on how can we launch this movement. But certainly with the awakening world, I do love being a bridge to everybody because everyone is a part of the HoloMovement, And so you, Piper, are not yet a member of the Evolutionary Leaders Network, but you sure will be. But everybody is a part of it on the true level.
Yeah.
So that's why it's so perfect to have you with us today. And I'd love to just ask you that question after watching the video. And what part are you playing in this beautiful awakening world?
That is such a profoundly vast question. I would say that I have been playing the role from the moment of my first breath. I trust and believe that having been authorized to receive and accept the truth that my soul called upon this incarnation at this time to walk through the world as a woman, as an African American and Native American woman, to be able to be burned to ash by the fires of this society, and yet resurrected by the truth of higher consciousness, of spirit, of that which is greater than our experiences, so that I could expand more compassion, more love for humanity, for self, for the broken, for the oppressed, for the Earth Mother. I think what I'm doing to help in this now moment is calling upon all of the influence of my experience, of my intellectualism, of my soul, and integrating the truth from all of the wisdom of not just the two-footed, but also the four-footed, the winged ones, the rock people, the mountains, the wood people, the trees, the water people, the ocean, the river, all human life, all creative life, all spiritual life, all soul life, and incorporating that with the rooted truth and painful journey within the limitation of our incarnation. So the body politic, social justice, human rights. So I act to globalize the two, my spirit connection, and yet also allow myself to be open to human suffering and do all that I can to rescue children and women from domestic violence, from human trafficking, from racism, from bigotry, and to heal the environment at the same time so that I can ascend back home with a much greater expansion of heart, of love.
I've had the good fortune to get to know you a little bit better. We had a lovely call the other day. And I so respect, Piper, that you are walking that razor's edge of your own personal human journey that has included a tremendous amount of suffering, personal suffering, as well as being a sensitive woman in tune with the collective suffering of humanity, as well as of the feminine, as well as, women of color in this country. And so you've carried so much personal and collective pain, processing it, working it in your own personal journey of life, while also still being a social activist, while also still playing a big role in creating a better world. Thank you.
Thank you, Scott. Thank you, Scott. I think I look at it all as we all should with human suffering. I feel as if God trusted me with that which the burden that I had to carry. As I was walking through it, of course, it felt as if, why is all of this occurring and happening to my ancestors, to my parents, to my children? But I look now as a rape survivor. I'm a survivor of both of my daughters, as you know, when they were 3 and 5, were kidnapped from their preschool, and they were gone for 8 years. The physical, emotional, and spiritual suffering of a mother running on a playground after reading Shel Silverstein, The Giving Tree, to a classroom and baking 64 green cupcakes on St. Patrick's Day, and them vanishing is probably the greatest soul suffering and pain a human being could ever experience. And yet, it could have shattered me to an inability to function, which it did for a number of years, but it rose me to an ascended place of massive compassion for sexually traumatized children, for rape survivors, for mothers that have lost children, for our soldiers, and anyone that has suffered from post-traumatic stress disorder, from great loss and grief. And it expanded my heart to the nations of children. So I lost 2 so that God could push me to save hundreds of thousands. And then they were brought back. They weren't the perfect, young, innocent 3 and 5-year-old that disappeared because they had to walk with the weight of their own purposeful destiny, the traumas that they experienced over the course of those 8 years. And yet they evolved. One is now an attorney fighting for human rights of women and children and sex slaves and exploited and missing Native American and African American girls and women, which the numbers way into the hundreds of thousands. And the other is a therapist. So she took her pain and trauma and said, how can I help others that have experienced what we have? And here we are. We have ascended mountains. We have scaled mountains. We have slayed Goliaths. We have parted Red Seas. And we're here to love on the world and to stay strong in our compassion from what it is that we've experienced and suffered through. But our love, we never stopped loving through it all.
I want us to breathe in. Yeah. I firmly believe, Piper, that the meaning of life is we're here to learn to love. And each person has their own unique disillusionment, wounding, suffering, and learning to love themselves, and to learning to love each other, and even to learning to love humanity, despite the wounding, despite the suffering. And finding that, again, razor's edge balance of self-empathy, self-love, setting boundaries, while maintaining compassion for all. That is what we're here learning in this lifetime. And thank you for modeling it. And I see that people are writing in the chat box, that they relate to your suffering. And yeah, for any and all of you, because everyone here has suffered in some ways currently. And may it break our heart open. As Rumi, the best-selling poet in America, is a 12th century Islamic gay mystic, right? Cool. And yeah, and why? Because he wrote of the suffering. May my heart break open and stomp on my heart and drink of the wine, right? He understood, because of the suffering in his life, that our hearts can break open, that when the suffering happens, may it break our hearts open so that we have greater compassion.
Yes.
We experience life even more vividly.
Yes, the crushing of the grape brings the perfect wine. It's in the crushing.
Yeah.
Mm.
You have channeled something that you're going to share. I'm going to bring beloved brother Omashar on. Tell us a little bit about what you brought in, and then you're going to share it with us while Omashar plays a little bit of music.
Well, this was incredibly unexpected. I am on a very long and profound fasting right now, as I will be taking my daughter and heading up into the Amazon for a month of healing. And of course, we're doing this through the Pesach, the Passover. My daughter's, my grandparents, my in-laws are second-generation Holocaust survivors. So we are bringing in a lot of ancestral wounding and a lot of ancestral hope and a lot of ancestral wisdom. And we're going to release a lot of that on the mountain. And so last night, you spoke of global awakening, global healing. And I thought, how is it possible? Is global healing possible? And then I just wrote out something that was not to be shared. I thought it was just my little journal, but I'm willing to share it with our beautiful brothers and sisters this morning.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Piper. I'm going to disappear myself and welcome, Omashar. Good morning, brother.
The eye is a keyhole through which the world pours in and a world spills out. And for a few seconds, you can peek through into a vault that contains everything they are. But whether the eyes are the windows of the soul or the doors of perception, doesn't matter. You're still standing on the outside of the house. Eye contact isn't really contact at all. It's only ever a glance, a near miss that you can only feel as it slips past you. So we're all just exchanging glances, trying to tell each other who we are, trying to catch a glimpse of ourselves feeling around in the darkness. Because the greatest epidemic plaguing our society is a lack of human compassion, unity, and the dissolution of love. We are the mirror as well as the face in it. We are tasting the taste of eternity this minute. We are pain and what cures pain. We are the sweet cold water and the jar that pours. Soul of the world, no life nor world remain. Only this ancient love circling the holy black stone of nothing, where the lover is the love, the horizon, and everything within it. So what now? We change laws, we legislate, we train, rebuild, refocus. We balance the separate but equal into all equality, that will still not be enough. We cannot legislate the healing of the heart or the changing of the mind. We cannot legislate energetic vibration, higher consciousness, faith, or intentional collective unity, harmony, and healing. We cannot legislate and uproot the deep seeds of bigotry, of hatred, of ignorance, of fear, or rage. It's a step, but it doesn't get us across the Red Sea, just closer to its edge. We hold a mirror so we can utilize this time to examine ourselves. We use this gift, our gift of no distraction, in our silent places to hear from God in the center of the garden. We use this time as He asks all of us as His children, Adam, where are you? To bear witness to the truth. That which hides in shape, covering our nakedness in the fig leaves we've sewn together, the dead leaves on dying man, the layers and layers of fig that cover our authenticity, our humanity, our compassion, our faith. The fig leaves tell a story of who we want to be in the world, our masks, our titles, our cosmetic, our past, our secrets, our shame, our lies, our nakedness. We must remove them, like the burial clothes of Lazarus, and be called back to life, back to sight, back to truth, off the road to Damascus. Then we rebuild the foundation that was broken from the beginning. We demolish the blood-stained rock and meet beneath the fallen Tower of Babel with the language of love, with the language. We sit in the discomfort of revelation. We sit in the bloody ripping of a new birth. We labor as a mother in travail, stretching out, pushing through, to birth a new perspective, a new understanding, a new construct of being. We teach the children of every strand in this interwoven complexity of all of God's children. We teach the history of the black earth upon which God blew His Spirit and gave it life in God's image. The spirit of the brown earth upon which God blew His Spirit and gave it life in God's image. The spirit of the red earth upon which He blew His Spirit and gave it life in His image. The yellow earth upon which He blew His Spirit and gave life in its image. The spirit of the white earth upon which God blew His Spirit and gave it life in His image. We are a rainbow coalition of perfection. We are all made in the likeness of God, for God blew His Spirit in the black, in the brown, in the red, in the yellow, and in the white earth. And in that we will find our common language, the language of love. God bless you.
I'm going to read a couple of comments that have just come in as a way to conclude, and then we're going to hear Malkin. Ayada writes, Piper, I deeply appreciate you sharing your story, and my heart goes out to you. I know something about that place of being crushed. I have been there, and over a long, long time found my way through it, and understand that this has been my path that was preparing me for a deeper participation in the healing of our world. George talks very much about, again, relating to last night's show, your show, you're sharing just now. Susan writes, I relate to the compassion with you, Piper. Thank you for sharing these journeys. Jeffrey and Sonia write, harnessing anger into our Lovolution. Tabitha writes, what a profound masterpiece of truth. I would love to read this or listen to this again. So Piper, if there's a way you can put it in the chat box, that would be awesome. Roger writes, Roger and Bonnie write, Piper, that was so powerful. You have moved us to tears. So thank you.
Thank you.
Piper, we love you so much.
I love you, Scott.
I'm going to close. She's getting ready to go on this incredible journey into the Amazon with her daughter. So I'm going to go to gallery view, and I want to invite everybody to just send healing blessings to Piper and her daughter as they embark on this month-long journey into the Amazon, into the heart of Mother Earth. Maximum grace for Piper and her daughter. Maximum grace for Piper and her daughter. Maximum grace for Piper and her daughter.
Thank you.
Thank you, Piper. We love you.
I love you.
We'll see you on the other side.
On the other side.
Well, after that incredible beginning, thank goodness we've got Gary Malkin next, because Gary is one of those great spirits who can continue in a powerful way and carry on. Gary is an official member of the Evolutionary Leaders Network, but wasn't able to make it to Sedona this weekend because he's moving. Gary, welcome.
Hello, Scott. Thank you for having me on today. I'm delighted to be here, and it makes me feel more included in the HoloMovement gathering, which I couldn't have imagined not being there, because I think I was one of the first people to sign up for it when I heard about it.
Yeah, you are so beloved, Gary. So many times people have said, oh, Gary would love that, or that's what Gary always says, or, you know.
Wow.
So
What an honor to hear that from you, Scott. Thank you.
It's true. It's really true. Honestly, there are two people missing. That Kurt Johnson got COVID, so Kurt couldn't make it.
Right.
You and Kurt are like the two noticeably absent people here. So,
well, you know, Emmanuel and Kunzelman and Laura Rose are the two married couple who are based in Spain, and they have been spearheading the HoloMovement. And when during COVID, they came to Corte Madera and had a gathering of Jim Garrison and Dwayne Elgin and some other really remarkable people. And when they said the roots of the HoloMovement, that for those of you who don't know, David Bohm, the famous physicist who created a unique form of gathering in community in a soulful way with Krishnamurti called Bohmian dialogue, which I turn it into circles of resonance. That's another story. But Bohm mentioned the word HoloMovement, and Emmanuel Kunzelman drew that forth. And when he said that we think that it will make a difference if we proclaim the line in the sand between those who know this is one thing and those who believe in the mechanistic, reductionistic, separated world of separation and duality. And when he said that, I mean, I'm getting the chills all over my body right now, because it's almost too simple to believe that putting the stake in the ground and saying, this is a movement between those who know it's one thing and those who don't. And something that self-evident and that simple, it's kind of like right under our noses, that you'd think, well, why would that be important? And it's a game changer. And I've literally said to my friends where I was going in Sedona before I realized I couldn't go, was this is like the Continental Congress of the future of the Oneness tribe, the HoloMovement tribe. It is such an important gathering for all people who recognize that this is one thing, that we're all connected, as physicists and indigenous people have been proclaiming all along. So just really happy to celebrate this with you today.
Absolutely. Now, you just saw, of course, the video for the first time. How was that for you as somebody who creates beautiful videos? We've played your videos that you've done with Sarah McCrum before. How was that for you?
Which by the way, I have a 3-minute one that I'd love to share if
Awesome.
I can. It was so, I mean, my sister, Kristen Hoffman, she is unstoppable. And I loved the artistry that went into the visuals. I loved hearing Jean, Anyway, I heard Dwayne Elgin's voice and Gene Houston's voice, and it was just a beautiful, beautiful, immersive video that proclaims our oneness. So no, I loved seeing the unveiling. And yesterday, during one of our synergy circles, that it's part of the Evolutionary Leaders, you remember Charles Gibbs had wanted to have this poem. And this was about 6 weeks ago. And I said, wait a minute, Charles, do that again. And I took a piece of music that I had created spontaneously for Sarah McCrum and put the music underneath Charles's poem. And Kristen said, that's amazing. Send that to me. And so she ended up performing yesterday her voice on my piano with Charles doing poetry. And I got to see the video of it on our WhatsApp A-team, the way that those of us who are actually in the inner circle that can't be there. And what can I say? I mean, to be touched and included, I have to admit to feeling a little FOMO, because I so want to be there. And it was such a beautiful thing to see how creativity can bring in the palpable sense of oneness. And it was such an honor to have that happen. Were you in the room when that happened?
Of course I was. Kristen, I picked Kristen up at the airport. We've been sitting together, hanging out together, having all of our meals together. And she was so nervous. You know how she's a perfectionist. And it was this like spontaneous thing. They're going to play your music and you're not even there. Charles is going to read his poetry. She's got to sing to it. And she was like, Scott, we didn't rehearse. And I was like, it'll be great.
It was so extraordinary. I got chills. It was amazing. She is such a force. I so adore her. So no, it's very touching. I felt so included. Today I'm here because I was invited to help construct and support beloved friends having a wedding, Shakti, Shen, and Moksha. And I knew that if anyone has the courage to say yes to love with a commitment to marriage, I had to be there. And that was when the beginnings were, how could I be in the HoloMovement and the wedding? And I thought, okay, I'll come home Saturday night for the wedding, Well, I'm here. I'm about to play for that in about an hour and a half. And yeah, I wanted to share something that, was so inspiring. You asked me to write something. And, as Mark Twain said, if I had more time, it would be shorter. But I wanted to put in the chat what I wrote. I am here. Your answer to your question, right? I am here to stand for the unifying power of listening, envisioning, imagining, feeling, and embodying ourselves into a palpable sense of oneness with all life and all that is. Suffering is my teacher, feeling is my compass, beauty is my transformer, music is my lover, trust is my grounding, and surrendering is my path into melting into oneness with all. As Piper said, we never stop loving through it all. So you inspired that out of me, so may it be so. And that's my stand.
Oh, that's beautiful. Thank you for that. Thank you.
Yeah.
And Gary, you said you have a video you want to play?
Yeah, no, I this one doesn't get shared that often, but in light of the fact that the mission of the HoloMovement is to really accelerate the imaginal cells, the imaginal souls that are becoming the butterfly of the unifying experience with all life. I thought this video was created for Unity Earth for 2022, and it was imagining in 2030. And one of the things that I'm really big on is this phrase: we create at the frequency from which we vibrate. So if we're if those of you who know what cymatics is, Scott, that cymatics where you look and you put sand on a table and then you put beautiful music and it turns instantly to a sacred geometric pattern, right? Mm-hmm. So it helps me to imagine that immersive media and conscious music and high frequency poetry and beautiful incantations like Piper. That was so beautiful, Piper. Thank you, beloved sister. Wow, that was so incredible. Thank you for that. And that kind of frequency is like we are the mitochondrial cymatic experiment. And just imagining that every cell in our interstitial fluid, every cell in our organs, every cell in our body is the sand on the cymatic experiment. And the big challenge facing humanity is that we don't give it the time. You know that time where you see a mess of sand and there's no coherence? And then you put the music on. It doesn't happen right away. It happens as time and space expand and merge and meld, and then suddenly. And that time is the sacred time that we need to show up for, to allow ourselves to line up to the frequency from which we create the world that we all know is possible, and that is, we all know is the truth. So this video is another offering in that conscious experiment of allowing ourselves to be patient and to let the music, the media, the spoken word, the beauty merge us into the sacred geometric pattern that allows us to become the frequency from which we want to create. So I love trying to find the words, but here's this video, and I'll put it on share sound, optimize video, basic thing, and here it is. So I just really want you to experience this spontaneous spoken word of music that Sarah and I just said, okay, let's see what happens. And this is envisioning the 2030 and beyond. So let's all together on this call take a breath and drop in and imagine that we are the cells. There's no separation at every scale. Let our cells vibrate to the envisioning of what's possible for our future and for our present. Here we go. Scott, so grateful to be here, my friend. Here it is.
Let's take a look into the year 2030. A time when we can see the results of so many people making positive change. Let's feel right now what it's like to know peace on our planet. Let's see what it looks like when Earth is free to restore her natural beauty. Let's listen to the sounds of people who are living in harmony with each other and with nature. Let's sense the deep love for life that has created this change. The people who have joined together to do good for the world. The individuals who had the courage and determination to do what they knew was right. The organizations that changed direction for the sake of our mutual well-being. The leaders who encouraged us to trust ourselves and our inner knowing. The spirits who whispered in our hearts, showing us the way when we couldn't see it clearly. These are the expressions of love that unite us and give us power to move forward, creating the world we long to live in. Let's bring that world into the present moment and live it today and tomorrow and the next day and every day on the path to 2030 and beyond.
Oh my gosh, Scott, can I say something? I'm so sorry to interrupt.
Absolutely. Come on
I
in.
did not realize that this is this Gary Malkin. Gary, I'm sorry, I have to say this. Islands of Peace. Oh, wait a moment. An entire year playing nothing else around the clock to heal from my father's passing. I didn't realize who you were. I have to say, your art, your gift, sorry, you saved my life,
Oh my God.
literally.
Wow.
I didn't get it until you put that on, and I went, wait a minute. So I was called to be here today to meet you. Sorry.
Oh my goodness.
Thank
Wow.
you.
Yeah, what she's talking about, oh, Piper, that so touches me.
Overwhelmed. Thank you.
That is so beautiful. My God, how thank you for saying that. She's talking about the the series I created on Gaia TV that's gone out to 130 countries. I just launched the second season called Islands of Inner Peace. And many of the first videos, of the first 10 videos for the first season, were from Graceful Passages, which Michael and Doris Stillwater co-created with me. And they are tools for hospicing ourselves and addressing grief and loss. So, oh my God, Piper, thank you. That is so beautiful.
That has literally, I have played this. No one enters any of my retreats, any work that I do anywhere without us watching that series first. It has become a foundational tool by which I work as a therapist. I just can't believe it's you. I feel like I'm meeting John Lennon. I am just, I am so in love with you. And
Oh, honey.
that you allowed us to see and understand heaven so we could release, that we could let go, and all of the masters that you worked with. That's all I'll say, because I'm overwhelmed that
Oh
you
my
are.
God. My God.
I'm in love with you, and you are.
Oh, Piper.
And thank you for helping those of us that grieve loss. My goodness, that was all. Sorry, Scott.
Oh my
No,
God.
no, this is, so here's part of the story. This morning, Gary was lined up to be on the show today, and I had Piper booked for 2 weeks from now. And this morning I get a Piper saying, Scott, I haven't gotten a link to the Zoom room. And I said, oh no, Piper, I've got you 2 weeks from now on Easter Sunday. She said, I can't do that. I have you down for today. And so we went through this whole back and forth about her not being on. And then I said, well, come on. Well, look at how perfect this is, right?
Unbelievable. It's just so beautiful. Well, I was going to come on last night, right? So this has really been, and then you said, well, why don't you just come tomorrow morning? So here I am. And this is so divinely orchestrated because, I'm going to put in the chat, and then I got to go to this wedding, but I'm going to put the link in the chat about the Islands of Inner Peace, because Piper, if you loved the first season, we got 13 new films that are not just about loss, with Marion Williamson and Reverend Beckwith and Sarah McCrum and Lynn Twist and Zalman Schachter. It's just, I've worked.
You had Thich Han and Ram Dass.
Oh. Right.
And,
yeah.
And the Native American one.
Jyoti.
Oh,
was the creator, or was the one that was at the center of the 13 grandmothers, right?
So my ancestors were entering my home.
Oh my God.
Playing that around the clock.
Well, you guys, I know that you have an agenda and you got to move on. Piper, please have Scott send you my information so we can reach. And I just want to say one last thing, Scott, and thank you for letting me do this. There's a phenomenal spiritual teacher, Shakti Durga, a seer, a clairvoyant, a healer. She's been out there for 30 years, and she's coming from Australia to do some retreats with me and with Shiloh Sophia, the owner of the Center for Intentional Creativity. We're doing a day long on April 12th, and I have the links coming up here right now, and a weekend retreat, residential at Musea, Center for Metacognitive Creativity. Shiloh Sophia, me, and Linnea Brinkerhofer joining Shakti. These events are coming up, and those of you that are interested in what she is about, is the Shakti Durga is about embodying the intersection between the linear and the horizontal. The horizontal being our hearts and our, like our sense of the worldly life, and the vertical being our spiritual core, right? And so she uses music extensively, and I get to support her that way. So I just highly recommend that event. And then I'll just put in the Gaia link, which is if you want to have a free month and sample what Piper just talked about, they're really beautiful training wheels for meditation practice.
So Gary, I'm actually going to stick around for 3 more minutes because I'm going to do a little promotion for you.
Okay, great.
I want to start with, we have in the Zoom room with us right now is Christy Michaels. And of course, you are going to be a big part of her upcoming event on Easter Sunday, April 9th.
That was the next thing I was going to say, but I didn't want to overstay my promotional welcome.
Absolutely. No. So Christy's in the Zoom room right now. And we did promote it last night, but again, a reminder to everybody that Easter Sunday in the evening, Gary Malkin, Christy Michaels, and many other amazing people. You can, if you're in the Bay Area, you can go to it live, or you can live stream it. And that's going to be a really, really special event. Fantastic. And then what Gary was just talking about, here it is, Reclaiming Consciousness Beyond the Mind, Song of the Soul. Now, we've had Scott Catamas on the show several times.
Oh, you have?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, fantastic.
3 or 4 times. She's wonderful. We love Shakti Durga. So
yeah, she makes it so accessible,
So, and again, for everybody watching on Facebook, this is why you want to come into the Zoom rooms, because that's where you get all the links to all these amazing things that are happening. The last thing I do want to do is I want to take people to where they can get your music. And as you've seen, Gary is life transforming. He's changed Piper's life, as we spontaneously learned. And his main website is wisdomoftheworld.com.
Oh, look at that.
Of the world.
Look at that.
Join his community. Absolutely. I've joined it about 17 times because Gary's one of our regulars on the show. So I got like 17 emails from you because I've joined so many times. But really, Gary has worked with all the people that we love. Ram Dass, Reverend Michael, Marianne Williamson, Deepak. He really is one of the great evolutionary leaders. His music is incredible, graceful passages. Any of you that, as you saw from Piper, any of you that are dealing, and there's so much death going on in our world right now. We're all getting older, so there's that. I just think a lot of people are checking out. And so his graceful passages, music is so profound.
No, and we're working on a grief resolution workshop called You Awake. Hope Fitzgerald and I, who you featured once before with Alan Steinfeld, on May 20th. And maybe I could get on sometime before then so we could talk about that with Hope. But
let's definitely do that. Let's
Scott,
do that.
Thank you for
so much. Have a wonderful wedding. And I love Shakti Shen, so give her a big hug for me.
I will. And this has been such a surprise. Piper, thank you for your effusive acknowledgement of the work, and blessings on you and your journey with your daughter. Blessings. Take care, okay?
Thank you, Gary. And thank you for ushering my father into heavenly places. He dedicated his life, freeing Nelson Mandela and ending apartheid and working with Desmond and all of the work that he did as an incredible United States congressman. And but you ushered.
So you probably know her father. Her father is Ron Dellums, the congressman.
Oh my God!
Well, you ushered him over. Yes.
Oh my God, I have goose flesh.
I have goosebumps. I don't know how much I want to hold you. And he was my life. My dad was my life.
And where do you live, Piper?
I'm in the Bay Area.
Oh my God, we're gonna meet. We're gonna have.
Oh my gosh.
We're gonna have lunch.
You don't even know. If you allow me to hold you for like 10 minutes, without it being awkward, then we're gonna have lunch.
Done.
Done.
I will connect you guys. I'll create a cell phone.
Bye, Gary.
Thank you. Goodbye. I love you guys. Thank you.
The magic of the awakening world continues. It's just, it is magic. And, each and every one of you are part of this magic. We have 2 more guests, Zenka Karo and Victoria Friedman, but I think we need a little bit of music if Omashar is available. it might be good to we have a lot to digest. That was incredible. So Omashar, do you mind jumping in and giving us a little tune, and then we're gonna.
I would absolutely love to. And wow, holy smoke.
Right?
Right? The synchronicity, the serendipity is like everything is manifesting in front of our eyes as we show up and have open hearts and open minds. So brilliant. Gary, thank you for your sharing. Piper, holy smoke. I'm brought to tears, and it's just so healthy, so liberating. So here's a liberating song, and what's it called? It's called Completely Free. How about that? Me, 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 me. All right. Do that one here. Go like this. Yeah. I have been waiting for so long, and yes, I have faltered. Flickering faith I've had in you. Whoa, now that I see the greater plan, I know you've been watching, silently present, cheering me on. Through my pain I've grown so strong, and though my heart's been broken and friendships they have crumbled, I do it all again. And yes, I did it all for you. I knew that you'd come through. La 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 la. I open the door inside my heart. There is a radiant presence telling me this is where I start. Whoa, shining lights, please lead me home, for I know you never left me, and that I have never walked alone. And now I am ready for your essence to be fully merged with my life, and I'm ready for the changes that are required of me to be completely free. With your light I can see. La 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 la. La 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 la.
Let's all twinkle. Gary, are you Gary? No, you're Omshar.
No, there's only one of us here, brother, in many forms.
And here's Jasmine Bear representing the animal kingdom.
Yay.
Okay, thank you. Oh my gosh. Hello, Pat. I accidentally put you on, but it's good to see you. Thank you for being such a regular on our show. Oh my gosh, okay. No. She jumped up into my lap when she started hearing the playing of the music, so.
Well, yes, I play to all kingdoms and queendoms.
Thank you. She has been the belle of the ball. She's the only animal at the conference. And literally, I've had at least a dozen people say, can I hold her? And so, and she lets everybody hold her and pat her. And so she's been like the therapy dog.
It's beautiful too, because animals and young children are the greatest introductors. I can walk down the street with either my child or a dog, and people will just come up to you and talk where they wouldn't normally. So it's a brilliant door opener.
Exactly. Omashar, thank you. We'll have one last closing Omashar song at the end of the show. And we've still got 3 more guests with us. Victoria Friedman's with us. Zenka Caro is with us. Tez Gabriel is with us. So I'm going to go to Zenka next. And you've seen her on the show before. She was on recently when we had that amazing show. But for anybody who doesn't know, she is a force of nature. She is possibly the funnest woman I know. She's all about creating joyfulness and fun while we really open up our massive psychic awareness. She's got people bending spoons. She's got people telepathically connecting. She's very connected to our galactic family. And on top of everything else she does, she hosted the party. Remember last night how I said there's 100 people out there? Remember all that? Well, she was the one hosting that party. Her gorgeous, gorgeous home. In fact, Zenka, just before the show last night, I was so blown away by your view that I took this photo, which of course you recognize because that's one of the many mountains. She's got about 180-degree view, and that's about a third of the view from her living room. But I went outside and took that picture. So she is a queen of Sedona, a very important evolutionary leader, the creator of LightNet. Welcome, Zenka.
Thank you so much for having me, Scott. And today was really a reflection of the coherence that you're holding with the Global Peace Tribe. I just want to thank you for all that you do for this movement and this world. I also was supposed to be on at 10. And so all of this synchronicity, I love there was a comment that says, yeah, the universe knows what she's doing. Like, this is what happens. And there was another comment, I think Gary said, like, what the frequency we're in is the world, that's where we create from. That's the world we create around us. So thank you for being in such high love frequency and bringing all this massive global tribe with you, because I feel it and I see it. And it's following you, and it's just so beautiful. This is an important movement and tribe that you have, and so I'm so grateful that you're doing the work you're doing.
Thank you, and it's really fun merging your tribe you've been creating with LightNet with our Global Peace Tribe, and of course Altair, and so many of us really enjoyed him and what you've created. So, tell the audience a little bit, how has being here this weekend with our other evolutionary leaders and igniting the HoloMovement, what does that mean to you, Zenka?
So, from the second we walked into the Sidonia, I could sense that this was different. Everybody was kind to one another. There was just this loving space that had been created. And I don't think, not everybody knew each other. But these are the people who've been in this for decades and have, we talked a lot about holding, the long view, having the determination to hold a long-term vision and never give up. And I mean, we have, David Gresham from the conference. He's like, yeah, we're going to be causing world peace in 7 years. And I believe that he can do it. And he's got a way to measure it and a system to do it in. So it's this is what we're being called to do right now, is to not give up on our dreams, because the way that this works is that you're doing it. It doesn't seem like you're getting anywhere. It doesn't seem like people are understanding. It doesn't seem like there's coherence. It doesn't seem like it's like working. And then all of a sudden you realize that it just got super easy and super easy and super easy. So I think what the HoloMovement is trying to do this weekend is say, okay, you guys, we've got these silos, the Global Peace Tribe, Humanities Team, Shift Network, LightNet, all these different components, a core network, all these different components, and saying, okay, so how do we get to that really massive spike? So how do we combine finances, syndicate networks with our media? How do we do this? And it's a very grounded way, because so like, as you mentioned, Scott, it's not just people talking, it's actually working groups where we're saying, like, what do you need? What can I give? And then actually making a 6-month roadmap and a year-long roadmap to actually work in these relationships, to do that. And, there's a guy, Jeff, who I fall in love with. He's from this pro-social organization. He's like, yeah, we took the Nobel Prize and we figured out how to help people collaborate in these steps. And we taught 800 people around the world how to do it in 35 countries. And I was like, wow. Because he said something very important. He said, we want to collaborate, but we don't know how. So what I see this weekend and this week is that the wisdom is stacking upon and distilling itself. And we're starting to be like, okay, we can trust that this is the pitfalls that have happened before, the way, because if everything's all scattered and we don't know what we're doing, then we're going to keep looping. As Adam says, like, once you make the mistake 3 times, it gets annoying. We're wasting time. So like this, I'm seeing wisdom stacking, and I'm seeing the beginnings of collaborations and support, which can bring in like literally hundreds of millions of dollars, because there's a lot of money on the planet that wants to be put into this work. But they don't trust, like, there's no metrics because we're disorganized and we're like doing it for the love of it and all that stuff. And so I think there's a big movement right now to really, that like a rising tide lifts all boats. So figuring out who's in the consciousness movement and fortifying ourselves, collaborating. We talked with Adam the other day about joining forces for different like badges, right? Like quest badges. So this is a theme that's been coming up a lot with LightNet, is how do we take this love and consciousness? Because we're now master Jedis. Everyone on this call, you guys have been honing your inner peace. And so now we get to sit back and enjoy all that synchronicity, and we get to apply it to creating templates for the new way of doing things in harmony and in synchronicity. And I just want to close by saying the other thing that was so impressive with the HoloMovement, the Evolutionary Leaders Conference, was that just like your show, Scott, they put in all these holistic understanding. So they had music, they have us getting up and moving our bodies, like they have, making sure that we all get to say something, you know what I mean? Like it is literally putting into practice the fact that we're living, feeling beings, and that all of that gets to be nurtured, because that raises the frequency in order for us to create on a high level, because everything you need is just a loving heartbeat away, because that's what is creation. It's love. And we're so lucky to be in such good company with all of you listening here today, because this is the strength that when we're having a bad day, we all just like hold each other back. And this is the strength that the whole rest of the world can self-organize on, because it's fun. Like you said, it's curious, it's exciting. This is where the party's at. This is really good. And we get to model it.
Zinka, tell us, I'm going to your website because I think everybody should join LightNet. I love what you're doing. So tell us about your work and how people can join.
Yeah, okay, so we are collective intelligence, and we do this in teams of 8 to 12. So we booted up the Galactic Academy, where we teach you to contact your higher self, God and all that is, an ET or an angel. Because when we started realizing it was really fun to collaborate with each other, and then we realized it was even more fun to collaborate with the higher realms, with angels, with ETs, with God, with all that, right? But we don't have those circuitries and that relationship built yet. So we have like all these guides, we call them guides, that hold space for 8 to 12 people to super bond with each other and to get that practice in, so you can trust your remote viewing, you can trust your telepathy. We're doing a wild class, waking lucid dreaming. These are extraordinary skills that every one of us have. And when we put ourselves in an intentional group, we get results. So 96% of the people walk out of our labs having a deep connection with their higher self. And that's all you need, because, and I want to share a screen because we just launched we're pre-launching our Liberation Lab. So there's a lot of us, including me in my life, who have like numbed ourselves or checked out or been not in control of our physical body by using substances. Like I used to drink, I used to smoke pot, it's like, I was just like, I wanted to live like, but I also wasn't helping me in my life. And so we're taking 100 people who are 4 years sober from whatever it is, gambling, tech addiction. We have people, it's like, I had a $500 opiate addiction per day. And this guy's like on the other side of it. So whatever it is that makes us nervous and want to check out, we're figuring out what people do to do that. Now, this is what we built. We built a collective intelligence platform that allows, so we just finished this a couple of days ago, and it's like so exciting because we've been working for many years to build this custom software. But so this is how this one person is liberated. So they did cold turkey, they did channeling, MITT, which is a leadership program, theta healing, dreams, tapping, 12 steps. So if you look at tapping, for example, and you click on that, you can see all the tapping resources. So these are books, these are movies, these are classes, these are practitioners. Theta healing. Okay, what is even theta healing? There's theta healing devices, there's theta wave healing. So this is this person's best resources. And then we see what the groups, so we've only 8 people in here, we've done 8 interviews, but look, choosing family was the highest for getting out of addiction, liberating yourself into your best life. Prayer was 11%. Cold turkey, like just stopping, just drawing that line in the sand. So alone time. So we believe that once you get 100 people on here, whether it's bending a spoon, talking to an angel, or liberating yourself from a habit, right? Any habit, whatever it is, that we can start having collective wisdom stacked with the database of our best resources. And I can go in and share just mine with you, Scott. Like, here's my best inventing resources, and you can see that and adopt those things and look at those videos and read those research papers. So it's collective wisdom of how we do things, how we become our best selves.
Zinka, I love you. I just adore you so much. You really are like the funnest person I know. And I know a lot of really fun people. But just the joy you always bring to things. And I think we met like 2 years ago, back in the Mark Sims era, if you will. And right away, I just saw how much joy you were bringing to everything. And that's really, really important. You and my dog are the 2 people that remind me to do joy at all times, the power of play. I really appreciate that so much. Oh gosh. Well, and Zinka,
I'll just close by saying that we're also launching. So when we launched the Addiction Lab, the Liberation Lab, someone's like, "Oh yeah, my roommate, oh yeah, you should also launch a lab about our addiction to suffering." And I was
wow, right.
It's those things that don't make sense, because it's true. How are we going to be on heaven on earth when we're addicted to suffering? And we do it all day long. I know I do it. I worry. I like whatever, it's like, why are you worrying? Okay. And then we're also launching a levitation lab, which is high joy because, we see it in the Star Wars movies. We have 6 people on the list to interview. So I invite anyone who knows someone that's levitated or knows someone that has 4 years of liberation from an addiction to contact us at team@lightnet.org. And we want you to be part of that. And then I would just say that in 2 months, in June, we're going to be launching the contact lab. So if you want a family set of 8 to 12 people, you could go to lightnet.org and you can register there too, and it'll have a year-long membership. And we have 5 workshops a month for all members. So we have breakthrough coaching, spoon bending. It's really fun. And yeah. So.
If you could put some of those links, the specific links in, like where people can specifically look in for each of those things. Of course, lightnet.org is where most of it exists. But and Zenka, we're going to do another show together, I think in May, right? Kind of a follow-up with Altair. And
Altair was so blown away by you, Scott. He has not stopped talking about you. And he like curved the entire Contact 100 with the vibration of all of you guys on this. So he started calling us a galactic peace tribe. And that was like embedded in all of his messages. So remember that whatever you guys do, whether you're nice to the supermarket lady or whatever, is having a ripple effect. So your community had a ripple effect on my community, had a ripple effect on Altair's communities. And you've created something that you didn't even know you created. You know what I mean? Like we're creating galactic peace tribe. What do you call it? Yeah, like something like that, where we're making sure that the next iteration of our story that we tell ourselves is peaceful.
Yeah. Zenka, I love you. I will see you at the conference this afternoon, and our audience will see you in May. We'll set a date at the conference. Let's set our date for our next show.
Okay, well, lovely.
All right. Thank you so much. Oh my God, what an incredible, and you know what? This morning and last night's show is very similar to the energy, because when you go into the Sedona Center here in Sedona, where it's happening, everywhere I look, I see people I love. Everywhere I look, I see people like Zenka and, just remarkable beings. And it's the way I feel right now when I'm looking at those of you who have cameras on. There's Jerry, Wild Abbott Jerry. There's Pat, there's Victoria, there's Omashar, there's Nitya and Sylvia. Just see all of you with so much love. Our next guest is Tez Gabriel. We've had her on the show before. She, of course, is the founder, the keeper of the flame of Pathways of Peace. Keeper of the Flame. It was, of course, founded by I'll let her tell the story. We've told it before. Welcome, Tez.
Thank you. I hope you can hear me. My phone isn't always the best with sound.
Yeah, the audio.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you, but the audio is very low. So it will be important for you to speak loudly and close to the microphone if you can.
Okay. So, Zenka, yes. And Scott, I am just so honored and delighted to be back with you. Zenka said it all, but let me say it from my own heart. You are just such a loving being, and you emanate that to all of us. And so thank you for what you do and for who you are. It's just wonderful to be in your presence. So thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
And so I can go ahead.
Ricocheting the energy all around. It's like I feel the same way to be in all of your presence. It feels really good.
Yeah, it's incredible. Yes. Incredible. All right, tell us what this has meant to you, being in the HoloMovement, and what has stood out for you.
Well, let me tell you that the calling to the HoloMovement gathering was almost as large as my calling to Pathways to Peace, which actually took me to my And that calling for me personally and for Pathways to Peace is really about, it's really about expanding consciousness, which, you know, I talk about the technology of consciousness as the most significant step we all need to take now to bring peace to our planet. We've tried everything else, and we continue to do those things: peace education, consulting, working with our next generation peace builders, our youth. And so about a year ago, a year and a half ago, Pathways to Peace completed its strategic plan, and expanding and evolving consciousness was the key priority. And so now what's really important to me has become really important to Pathways to Peace in our work for peace. And so, you know, Scott, we've been around for 40 years. Ava Madison was our beloved co-founder, and she ascended about a year and a half ago. And now she's working with us from the other side, which has meant everything, really. And all of our work is with collaboration. We collaborate with all of our peace partners, our partner organizations, to really evolve peace, and now to evolve consciousness as the technology for building peace on our planet. And so for me, that is the HoloMovement. It is about igniting the awareness of consciousness, oneness consciousness. It is the merging of science along with spirituality, along with technology, and to bring, because that's where we're at. That's where we're at as a planet, to create that new Earth. And of course, we know that new Earth is about our collective awareness of oneness consciousness. And so being together, and as Zenka talked about, you know, it's been a multi-sensory, which it needs to be, because it's so funny. We're also a United Nations Peace Messenger organization in consultative status with ECOSOC and the Department of Global Communications. And so we're also bringing unity consciousness, oneness consciousness to the UN. So for the first time, we, at the Commission of the Status of Women, which just occurred, and we just came out of a week and a half ago, we had 5 events, and one of those events was about moving the dial on peace with equality empowerment of women and girls through expanded and evolved consciousness. And that's the first time that it's probably happened with others, but for Pathways to Peace, we've been at the Commission on the Status of Women for years, every year. Last year we had 11 events, this year we had 5, but it's the first time we have brought consciousness out of the closet at the United Nations. The other project we're deeply involved in around consciousness is really the unitive cluster work. A cluster is a United Nations structure that we can really use to create change within the United Nations. The unitive cluster is based on the unitive narrative. And if you haven't yet had access to the unitive narrative, which was co-authored, but one of the main authors was Dr. Jude Curvin. And you can Google that and read it. And it does look at all the ways in which science and spirituality are coming together to affirm, and folks, spiritual folks, indigenous folks, our sacred texts have been saying this for thousands of years, but now science affirms that we are all connected, that we, of course, are connected because there never has been separation. There has been a myth of separation. And I believe that all of the world's ills, all the barriers to peace fall at the feet of that myth of separation. And so bringing now a new language, a new data, new technology that really affirms and gives new language to oneness consciousness. It's just the next evolution of our work at Pathways to Peace. And I believe probably the work of everyone on this call. Some of you are already there. Others of you know it and yet have not yet known how to express it. And others are just learning about it. But it's exciting. We're all in it together because we're one. And we can't do anything but. And so, so everyone here and everyone beyond is here at the right time, at the right place to evolve our consciousness, which will mean the creation of new earth, that earth where peace prevails. And so that excites me beyond words. I see it, I feel it here, and we're going to turn the dial on that. And I've been waiting a lifetime and probably many lifetimes for that opportunity. Yep. And I believe others here have as well. There aren't any coincidences, Scott, as you know. And so everyone here is here to create in their own ways, through their own talents, through their own beliefs, through their own technologies, broadly defined, are here to make this happen. And so I'm just so very grateful for that.
Thank you. Thank you, Tez. We're grateful for you. And thank you for carrying on the work of Avon Madison. I don't know if you remember, but Avon's last public appearance was on my Saturday Night Live for the Global Peace Tribe show. She was on a Saturday night and she passed like 10 days later. And I remember, during back in those days, we had a lot of guests on the show. In that particular show, that we had Stephen Dinan and we had Ben Bowler and we had a lot of people. And during the pre-show, she wasn't sure if she could do it. She was feeling very, and I took it as she was feeling insecure. But she pulled it together and she was incredible. And she this world 10 days later.
Yes. So Avon did not like public speaking. She did not like that at all. And her ministry was really a ministry of love. And her channeling of that love for everyone who was present and over the phone, everyone was touched, everyone was moved, everyone's vibration frequency was lifted by Avon's presence.
Well, now we're all being lifted by you now, Tez, I gotta say, absolutely. Question, we've met so many new people. One of the new people that I just met is Victoria Friedman. and Victoria is going to be on next. Did you know Victoria prior to Evolutionary Leaders Network?
I did not know Victoria through there, but I do know her through Unity Earth. And Victoria and I think it's safe to say, we've been looking at each other here at our conference and saying, soon we're going to be able to get together on the same table while we're here. But I love Victoria, and I think she feels that, and she loves me. And so, Victoria, I'm just delighted that you're here.
Thank you, Tez. Dia Therese wrote, Tez, I'm loving your special manner of expressing and articulating this precious message. And I've put your email address and your website into the chat box. And I will see you at the conference in 2.5 hours.
I can't wait. And for anyone who wants to check out that that video of that presentation, you'll find a lot of incredible videos. We're very busy spreading the word, so you'll find a lot of incredible videos on our website. And I hope other things that interest you. We're constantly evolving that. And at any point that you feel called to connect, please, please, please do. We want to be connected to anyone who wishes to connect with us. And what I always ask when someone connects is, what's your heart's desire? You know, what will make your heart sing? And if you can identify that, then let us go and work together.
As you're saying that, there's like a little bird right outside my window. I don't know if people can hear it chirping away. Now it stopped, of course. There it is. Can you hear that? No. Anyway, Pathways to Peace is the place to go. It's a beautiful website. There is so much that you can learn all about the incredible that they're doing. We are all getting ready now for Peace Day 2023, and I know that Tez will be on future episodes of our Global Peace Tribe shows. I love the Peace Wheel. It's so powerful. So Tez, we'll look forward to seeing you in person in a couple of hours, and the next time you're going to be on our show with our audience.
I'm looking forward to it, Scott. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And thank you to everyone here, just pushing out that love to all of you and beyond.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Tez. All right, we are in the home stretch. We've got one final guest, and then we'll have a Omashara song to close us out. And you got a little homeopathic dose from Tez, all about Victoria Friedman. Hello, Victoria.
Hello, Scott. Hello. Finally.
Finally, thank you for your patience.
So
you know, as those things were invited.
I'm talking about years. Following you for years. So happy to be here. Still vibrating. I've been at the HoloMovement. I don't know what to call it. Gathering, the HoloMovement gathering for 3 days, and I'm vibrating in every body. Like this, my hands are shaking.
Yeah, it's next time we're going to do this for a week. Next time we're going to have it be a week long. So, the same question: what does the HoloMovement mean to you, Victoria? How has it impacted you, even if it's just these past couple of days?
Oh, well, Scott, I actually feel that I have been in the HoloMovement forever. And I feel the HoloMovement has been my womb. It's been holding me in its arms probably since before I was born. And so I'm just so vibrating with it, and want to see what it wants from us, how it wants to manifest. And, you know, as far as I'm concerned, I want to give everything I have and any gift I have to be here, to really just be here and be able to just give give and to let that hollow movement express itself far and wide.
Mm. And tell us a little bit about yourself, since this is your first time on our show. I'm really eager to hear about your book, the book that you told me about yesterday.
Are you talking about our group consciousness book?
Yes, the consciousness book.
Okay, well, yes, that book is coming out hopefully this year, because we're working with Kurt Johnson and Light and Light magazine. And my husband and I have been involved in group consciousness for 30 years, 40 years really. And we started years ago just to give lectures where we were living locally. And people came to these lectures and, they were very well attended. And then suddenly people stayed around. They just stayed around. And something began to happen. It happened to us. We did not plan it. We did not look for it. We didn't even know what to call it. We just were a group of people that were coming together, and then some amazing things started to happen. At that point, my husband, Ron, who's wonderful, and we've been together 57 years. So we, my husband is a doctor, a medical doctor, and physics student. And so he began to explore what was happening in our meetings. Like, when you go to meetings, people usually look at the content, what people are saying and how they're speaking. And sometimes there's a goal like reaching a budget decision. But we started to look at what was actually going on at the meeting. It's like when you go out to dinner with 4 people. If you go out to dinner with 4 people, you kind of talk and you see who's talking to whom, and sometimes there's side conversations and all this is going on. But what we're all looking for really, when you go home from that kind of conversation where everybody goes all over the place, you feel kind of lonely. You feel you haven't been with friends. You feel like maybe I don't have good friends. What's wrong with me? Because the way the conversation is going it's not conducive to real intimacy. We call it the red car principle, like this. So if you haven't felt this, just let me know. So the red car principle is like, you go out for dinner and somebody says, I'm looking to buy a new car. I think I'm going to buy a red car. Okay. The next person, if you are really lucky, because they're listening, might say, oh, you know what? I really think, what kind of car are you getting? That would be very big. But usually the next person says, oh, you know what? I was in Bloomingdale's the other day and I saw a red dress, and they're having a sale on those dresses. And somebody says, well, the other store down the street is having a sale on that. Okay, now we are not becoming intimate. We are not. So one of the things we saw in these meetings, I'm just giving you a little taste, okay, is that when you stay on a topic, when everybody is able to stay on a topic, there is a sense of connection. We're also talking about connection. That connection is already there. It's the mind that's taking us away. It's right there. It's right at that table at dinner. So we began to see all these things from many, many meetings, how we get together and what brings us to what we already know we want to feel with everybody, what we do feel. We already have it. But what has the mind been conditioned since generations to do? Like I went out for dinner, my husband and I, and another man and another woman, another couple. And the couple happened to be one of my spiritual teachers. So we're having all these conversations. And next, when I talked to my teacher, he says, Victoria, I can see why Ron wouldn't want to go out to dinner with you. And I'm like, what do you mean? And he goes, well, you don't listen to him. You don't talk to him. You just listen to other people. And I said, well, I hear him all the time. You see, that's the mind. Logically, that's true. I'm interested in someone else. We all accept that. Again, It does not move toward intimacy, what we're all talking about. Does not move to that. So we started to explore all these things in meetings over 30 years, how people's names affected. And out of this grew we have some guide rules. I think people on this call probably wouldn't mind some rules, but you know what they call the green meme now? And the green meme, you know, the word rules is not a happy word, especially for young people. They're like, you know, we don't need rules. Everybody's free. But we came up with some things that happened. Let me explain this to you. It's like we were using names in meetings. You know, you sit in a meeting and somebody said, "Oh, I really love what Scott says." What Scott said was that was a great idea. And then we go on and somebody else. Well, we investigated those meetings through honest and very vulnerable self-observation. People said, you know, when Gary Malkin says, "Oh, I love what Scott said," in a meeting for collective consciousness, not just meeting for a gathering, you know, a meeting for moving to a penthouse where the light is on, not living in the basement of a meeting. When we did that, people said, "Well, you know what? I get a little feeling like, how come he doesn't like what you know, nobody said that they like what I say." See, that the ego is like that. It's there. And it's like little things like that. So we decided, rather than work on this forever, because most people are pretty there, we just said, let's disclude names. The use of names, simple. It sounds simple. So when we did this, let's try 2 months of meetings without names. Only the leader calls on people, but let's try it without names, right? Major space opening, major. So people could still pick up, like say George here. George was speaking about, you know, how nature gives us so much. So I don't have to say, "I love what George said," right? I don't have to say that. I can go impersonal a little bit, and I can just go and say, in terms of nature, and continue it. And that spirals the vortex of a meeting. So Scott, there's just so much. I don't know how much you want me to go on with this. I don't know how interesting it is for people, but we actually, just to tell you, after a while, people began to wake up together. What is that like in a meeting? It's wonderful. It's like having a good time. It's like having fun. It's fundamental fun. And so it's like people are all there, and it just feels great. You know, it just feels good, like when you have that good time with everybody. I know that we just think we can have a good time with everybody, but do we have a good time with everybody? But so we think that's so simple, and it is, but there's some things in the mind and in our upbringing that we need to just allow ourselves to understand, just see it. So then we get into this space and we go there more and more. Nobody wants to leave. Everybody wants to come back. We just want to be together. And then creativity explodes. I'm telling you, creativity explodes. Within short time, we emerges a theater ensemble. A theater ensemble with 12 people. We performed 8 years. All in collective consciousness. Universities, Kripalos Center, Open Center. We did Rumi, we did Mirabai, and everything was done collectively. There was no scriptwriter, no director, we did everything. We did the lighting. I'm an artist, a ceramic artist. I now know about lavaliers and wireless sound and lighting. I mean, and you know, I'm not saying
I can see your theatrical background actually reminds me of that. And
okay.
we'll have to privately, because it might not be so interesting to the audience, but privately we'll have to chat about our theater backgrounds, because I have a long theater background also. Yeah. Victor, do you have a website? I was looking for your website and I don't see it. So
vistarview.org.
So spell it to me, please.
vistarview.org.
Vistarview.org. Okay.
Thank you. And that word Vistar, what that is like we were with a non-dual teacher for a number of years. And that means he would say to us, you are not a person looking up at a star, trying to find the star, working hard, never reaching it, the impossible dream. You say, that's not what you are. You are star consciousness looking out from the star. And it just changed everything.
Beautiful. Here it is, Vistar View, her website. So that's where you can learn all about the wonderful things, including the book coming this year. We're going to count on it, her Vistar Method book. I really appreciate it. You were kind of waiting for a while, but what a fun show to watch, all the Gary and Piper and the music and the videos. So it's been a full show. Thank you so much for being with us, Victoria. I'll see you back at the conference.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Scott.
Absolutely. All right, audience. It has been quite a weekend. I've loved our shows. As always, we are going to wrap up with Shar and music, but I do want to remind everybody we still have some room available at our retreat. I got a text message this morning that Nitya is having a medical thing, so I'm not even sure if he's going to be able to make it, which might open up. Right now, all of our beds are full. If Nitya is not coming, that would open up a bed. But I'm hoping Nitya is going to make it, so we'll see how that goes. But please, it's, as you can see, the energy that we've had, that you've gotten a feeling for the conference, we're going to carry all of that into Los Angeles next week. And again, a reminder, it all starts Tuesday and Wednesday. There's all these events being put on by Pato and Ben Bowler, Chris Hoffman, and then we roll into the Global Peace Tribe Retreat. During Omshar's song, I'll put some details into the website. I know that we went long today. Usually we end at 11:30, and we're going to probably finish just before 12 noon. So thank you for being with us a little extra time today. We just had so many wonderful people to share. And Omshar, I am turning it over to your trusty fingers and voice.
Yay. Another wonderful show, and it's brilliant because this is kind of made up on the fly, and it was seamless, perfect. And so just to encapsulate it, let's say, with a see-through end capsule, let's just take a few moments and hands on hearts, take a few deep breaths, and just let's digest all of this amazing information. And thank you, Victoria. That was wonderful, even though I'm not supposed to say that, but I just did, so whatever. And one I am has always been here, whispering songs of life and love. Come with knowing our day draws nearer, come with joy and endless love. Sacred dancing breathes our heart's songs, and silent yearning keeps alive. A union blessed before beginning, and preordained beyond all time. Each step I take is one step closer to you, a joyous stride into the new. Each breath I breathe takes me inside your heart. Now I remember how to feel, and I remember how to fly. The one I am, fly. I am that I am. The one I am. I am that I am. The one I am. I am that I am. Open to our sacred merger, shedding tears of divine bliss. Every movement tells a story, and nothing could compare with this. Each step I take is one step closer to you. A joyous stride into the new. Each breath I breathe takes me inside your heart. Now I remember how to feel, and I remember how to fly. The one I am, fly. I am that I am. The one I am. I am that I am. The one I am. I am that I am.
Oh, that's a band. That's just such a great song. I love that song. And everybody else was looking at all the people dancing. I saw people dancing I've never seen dancing before.
I know, me too.
I love how more and more people are getting into it. So thank you, all of you who move and groove to the music. It's become one of my favorite parts of this show. I'm going to go to gallery review one last time. Hey, everybody. Here we all are. Look at these beautiful, beautiful souls. Thank you so much for being with us. And I really hope some of you may still join us in Los Angeles. It's going to be very special. I just added a couple of new musical artists to the show, to the event that we're going to be doing. So it's going to be really, really powerful. So please do join us in Los Angeles. And again, if you have any questions, you can text message me. That's the best way usually to kind of connect with me and let me know what's, or I'd say I can answer your questions that you might have. So I'm Ashar. I will see you in person
Tomorrow night, maybe.
Oh my God, really?
Yes.
It's tomorrow night, Monday night.
Yeah.
I will see you tomorrow night. Your Lord.
It's a long way away.
I know it's a long drive, but I will see you tomorrow night, my friend. Take care, everybody. God's blessings, and have a beautiful, sacred Sunday. I go to gallery. One last. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.